Sunday, 23rd of March, and it's not a very nice day. So let's have a very nice shave instead. I'm going to be using today Kaizen by the Ariana and Evans. This is the Mad Naked Bird on a Dragon. So I'm also going to use, for a change, I'm going to use a natural brush. Ooh. This is Pure Citola by Amiga in Italy. Small brush. It's relatively soft compared with most natural brushes, so I'm going to give it a go. But the Ariana and Evans, as you know, I'm no expert. This is really just me quaffling on Martin's test shaves. I'm more into steel. But anyway, this particular wonderful gunk is a very sweet aroma. It's very unusual. It's actually, nearest is opening a bag of sweets and then spreading them all over your face. So I rather fancy the sweet smelling lather today. So we'll quickly whack on with that. In fact, I might even do a crackers experiment. We'll compare the Ariana and Evans Kaizen to perhaps one of Eric's wonderful tubes, or rather pots. I rather prefer Eric's, to be honest. Anyway, this isn't lathering up very well, is it? I mean, I don't like natural bristle brushes. And quite honestly, I don't think it's the soap. I think it's the rather ineffective brush. Anyway, enough of this. Let's get on. So that's the Ariana and Evans Kaizen. I wanted to test and I want to show off a little bit of how to refresh your edges. So here's one of the prettiest cases you'll ever find for a razor. That's natural olive wood, and that is of course Mastro Livi of Italy. And this Mastro Livi, I believe, is in a cocobolo wood. I wasn't happy with the edge, but then it is stainless steel and they're odd edges. So I gave it a little bit of a hanging hair test, and it's as dull as ditch water. So what I did, let me just show you. I gave it 40 laps on this, which is of course the Crocs, on a nice linen canvas strop. And sure enough, it was a lot better. I say a lot better, but quite honestly, it is strange stuff, stainless steel. And the Mastro Livi, this is a half hollow, by the way, in case you're interested. It's a half hollow blade, and it's just literally just been stropped. So let's just try. Yep, it's doing its job. This is about, I don't know, 3 days of stubble. Got to say, this lather's rubbish at the moment. Lovely aroma, but not great. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop now because I'm not happy. Is taking the stubble off, but I'm going to compare it to a carbon blade. Now this one you may enjoy for the simple reason it's one of the best steels you can get. It's a Puma. Now this is rare. This is a very early. This is a Latagio Monsoon Puma 90, and you don't find these everywhere. But look, there's the little notes that I've made on the case of all the times I've used it, and mostly not needed to strop it, because this one is on a coticle edge. And I've always said coticles are extremely nice because although they're not necessarily desperately sharp like a man-made edge, man-made stone that is, but they are, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's much better. Yep. This is probably a little bit unfair, as I have used this quite a few times, this beautiful Puma. I actually re-etched it. I put the high gloss etching on it, mostly because I restored it. It had been lightly rusted and had lost his original gold panel. It was such a good quality razor. Translucent scales. I thought, no, this has got to be improved. So a couple of years ago, I put the work in. Don't think I'd do it now. Lazy bastard. Anyway. Yeah, a good carbon blade, in my opinion, is pretty unbeatable, depending on the quality. I mean, this being a Puma is double hammered steel, and it's an early Puma, so that's very, very good. Let's go back to our friend. I'll do a bit of a palm strop. I can't quite decide whether it's the strangeness of the grind. Mastro Livi doesn't make the deepest hollows anyway, and this one's a half hollow. But his steel and his method, I'm sure, is wonderful. Anyway, let's just touch up this little bit here. Very different feel. Half hollow is almost as unforgiving as a wedge. And this is a particularly stiff half hollow. And I don't like the soap. So, just to be controversial, which is what I'm known for, let's instead dispense with this rather vile but very sweet smelling Ariana and Evans, and instead go for something really nice. So let's go for the Bayo Malats. Let's go for Ariana and Evans. Let's dispense with the Ariana and Evans and go with a really decent custom soap. This, of course, is the Cajun Blade. This is Eric's. And you can't go wrong with Eric's. If you can get any, you're very, very lucky. So let's use a proper brush, a synthetic, and see how that lathers up with Eric's. So this is a bit of a strange shave, you must admit. Well, for a start, the brush is much better. I'm sorry, but you know, I like a brush that lathers quickly. And you can't beat a synthetic for that. They always lather well. I'm not going to beat the crap out of my face, as our good friend Gordon does, with his wonderful technique with brush. Gordon Christie, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful chap. Up in Scotland, Bonnie wee Gordon. Anyway, that feels a hell of a lot better. So it's a much, much better brush, much better soap. Let's see how now that works. If I can move all this junk out the way. I was going to use the Ariana and Evans splash, the Kaizen splash, but quite honestly, I don't think I'll bother. Right, let's go back and go against the grain with this rather fine Mastro Livi. Yeah, it's cutting better. Well, well, well. Yeah, I'm not usually very fond of stainless steel. I'm certainly not very fond of half hollows, but yeah, this is a good razor. Utterly different feel. It's stiff, more like a quarter hollow. In fact, I'd say performance-wise, it is a quarter hollow. And on old man stubble, I've got to say this is good. So I think it's a very harsh test using any razor which you haven't used for a while, and this one I haven't used for ages, against heavy stubble. The real test will be post-shave. I've just watched Devin Jackson's wonderful video, and he's a master fanatic when it comes to clever finishing of edges. And I was wishing him the very best using a cortical edge. But he's very technical. He loses me in his profundity. Yeah, I've got to say, on this second pass, it is better. I've also got to say I much prefer this wonderful soap, the Bayou Malade from our good friend Eric. He does make absolutely gorgeous aromas, and you can see the slickness is about right. A lot of people like a big frothy lather. I don't, but this one is absolute perfection. So I'm going to give this a very high mark indeed. Yes, thank you, Eric. I would also say it's difficult to get a lower angle just right with a very stiff blade. And this is a bugger. This is really stiff. But it takes getting used to, and I haven't used it in a month of Sundays. But it's good. So, he deserves his reputation, does our Italian friend, Mastro Livi. I wonder if he's still making razors. I hope he is. But they're such different razors. The steel is utterly different. The way it's constructed is completely different. He has a beautiful torque screw, which you actually get the little torque tool in the case when it comes. So I've got one of them. I'm going to just, to prove a point. Yeah, doing a good job. But let's put it against probably one of the finest steels you can get, which is of course a Puma. And the earlier the Puma, normally the better. But this one's one of my favourites because it's a Letterjungen Sun, and it's got translucent scales, and it's got 3 pins, and it's very pretty. And I've always been a fool for pretty. I love functionality as well, but this is good. Anyway, nearly done now, chaps. Bear with me. This is the lower neck hairs, which can be tricky. Oh no, it's so much better. Yeah. More controllable. This is a full hollow Letterjungen Sun Puma, and this is I don't know. This is many outings this one's had. Crisp, very crisp. I would honestly say case proven carbon steel. Actually, I totally lost track of how many times I've used this on its rather nice cortical edge. The corticals are kind. They're not always the sharpest of edges, but they're very kind. You won't get any afterburn on your skin. Post shave, you can always tell a cortical, because no one ever complains. By the way, there's a tiny little patch of blood there. That's because I was getting the angle wrong with that wretched quarter hollow, because I think it is a quarter hollow. It's as stiff as a quarter hollow. Mastro Livi. Yeah. Carbon wins again. Little unfair though. So there you have it. If you want a quick refresh of your edge, the old chrome oxide or chrome dioxide CBX on a canvas strop anywhere from 10 to 40 laps, depending on how blunt your edge is. But this is gorgeous. Yeah, that's a good shave. As far as the soaps go, Ariana and Evans didn't stand a chance. And that horrible Citola dead horse, hog's hair, bloody awful thing, I won't be using that very much. I only did it as a test. So there it is. There's your Amiga Pure Citola, made in Italy. Rubbish. It's getting dumped. And there's a proper brush. That's awfully nice. That's a Yaki. And it works beautifully. So I'm a little bit prejudiced because I like simplicity. And I'm not going to start beating brushes around and leaving them for days in hot water. And no. Oh, I've got to keep doing this. This is so nice. That's the big advantage of straight razor shaving. Variety. You get to know what you like. Just listen to that. Just think there's people out there that still use double-edged razors. Poor devils. Comfort, supreme control, and wonderful skills. Yeah. It's a great shame that our wonderful friend Eric doesn't make a splash. He probably does and I don't know about it. So I'm going to do something naughty. I'm going to put a splash on over Eric's wonderful soap. I'm going to use the Kaizen. By the way, nice feel. But that's a little unfair because we're using a Mastro Livi quarter hollow, or vaguely half hollow, against a much superior Puma. Anyway, let's put this Crazy Lady on a Dragon splash. Yeah, nice splash actually. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, and by the way, typical of the aftershave effect of a good shave. No sting whatsoever. Anyway, chaps, Martin's Test Shaves over and out.